Welcome back to another episode of the Offer Hustle. It's your host, MC, DJ, all of that, Deona Hustle. Also co-host of Hustle and Shine in the Morning on Kansas City's #1 for that hip hop and R&B, Hot 103 Jams. Big shout out to NSPN. Love y'all. Shout out to my guy Esai to the left of me. Also, big love to Zoo Studios. Make sure y'all book with them. You need studio time. You need time to do anything. You should be doing it at Zoo Studios. So make sure you book with them. Now, today I have Cuzzo. Cuzzo, tell everybody, hey.
Hey, Cuzzo.
I always say Cuzzo, and people be like, who's Cuzzo? Who's Cuzzo? Zae. It's Zae. It's Zae. So today we have several different topics we're going to dive into. We're going to dive into music. We talked about music culture last time. We're going to talk about relationships. That was a good topic.
Yeah, that was a very good topic.
We have several different things we're going to dive into, but first and foremost, I want to start into this because I said this last episode. I kept you not. We talked about current female rappers. Remember this? Yep. Yeah. He said yeah. I said the number one is Nicki Minaj. Nicki the Ninja, Nicki the Harajuku Barbie. And guess what? Billboard dropped the top best female rappers. And guess who was at the top of that list?
Let me guess, Miss Mirage.
Miss Mirage. Oh, Nika Mirage. Actually should. Could we get some claps? I don't even know if you got no claps. Hope you heard some claps. If you didn't, make them up in your head. So I just want to say that for the record is Nicki Minaj should be on that list. She's moved mountains. Nicki Minaj is the definition of someone who is not just an artist. She is an influencer. She is an entertainer. She's a personality. She is all things wrapped up into one that a lot of people can't be, men and women. So when you speak on Nicki Minaj's name, whether it's Onika Mirage, Nicki Minaj, Nicki the Harajuku Barbie, Nicki the Ninja, the Sleaze, whatever it is, just remember, she is the queen of rap for a reason. Billboard knew it, and you know it. That's it. That's a lot. I just needed to make sure I said that for the record because we talked about female rappers last week and then literally Billboard was like, boom. So they solidified it. What you feel about that Billboard, the Billboard charts? Because number 2 was Missy Elliott.
I feel like all time, maybe, yes. But as far as current, absolutely not. She's
what
not
you
even...
mean? I had no idea. I wouldn't have had Cuzzo on the show if he felt like this. Not just playing with you.
No, but yeah, I definitely think like overall, like, you know, throughout the years, she's definitely had her influence. You got to think about it. Like she was on top for like 10 plus years.
Absolutely.
So it really wasn't until like probably like what, like 2021, 2022. That's really when like, well, no, like Meg came out like 2019. That's when Meg started to get big. And then that's when Lotto started to get big. And then now you got Flo Milli. Now you got all these other females. Now you got Sexy Red. Like you got all these other females like really kind of killing shit.
I didn't know you was a Nicki Minaj hater.
I'm not a Nicki Minaj hater.
This is crazy. This has the female rappers have nothing to do with Nicki. Like they're in their own lane. Everybody's in their own lane.
I feel that, yeah.
Nicki's in her own lane. But who else do you think should at least be in the top 3 of all time? Like just you ain't got to name all 3, but one at least.
I would say either Da Brat or I would say
Da Brat.
I feel like she's a little bit slept on.
I like Da Brat. Like that could be case. She could be slept on. That could be a thing.
What was another one?
Lauryn Hill is like 3, I think.
But she's not really a rapper though.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
she's not the same rapper I would look at the rest of them.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Who's another good one?
Lotto. You thinking current people? You wouldn't be thinking about them.
I was.
You thinking like more like Lil' Kim is on the list.
I was just about to say Lil' Kim.
She's I think number 4.
Okay.
Or 5.
I could respect that.
Yeah, like everybody's placements felt cool.
Yes.
I didn't feel like it was like too crazy.
And I will say, like, one thing that's really interesting about Lil' Kim is, like, she raps like that and she's so little. Like...
You know, a lot of them do.
And Lola Brooke is tiny.
Lola Brooke is tiny. They got that. But that's them being from, like, you know, New
Bigger
York
cities,
and over there. Like, a lot of them. Because Nicki is the same way. Like, she's tiny. Yeah. But, like, she'll really get on her grizzly. Like, whoa.
But one thing that I've definitely noticed, and this is, like, living here in Kansas City with, like, all sorts of people from all different type of places. We are very different from people from the East Coast or West Coast.
Oh, for sure.
Like, yeah, we just have a different vibe.
Mm-hmm. No, Kansas City is very different. When I've mentioned it before, but when I first moved here, I felt like Kansas City was too nice. I say that. Like, people was being not, like, it was just strangers being like, hey, how you doing? Like, I don't know you. And so St. Louis and New York, I wouldn't say are the same in mentality, but we're more we're a little bit rough around the edges
absolutely.
when it comes to we're bold, we don't care. It's different. So it's completely different as far as East Coast vibes in Kansas City. Like the vibe is completely different.
Absolutely. And even the West Coast people, like they're a completely different vibe of their own too.
Oh yeah, they a whole different beast too. Yeah. Okay. I just saw this was released. Toni Braxton and Birdman secretly tied the knot 8 months ago. Congratulations, wedding bells. That was one of the most interesting relationships that I ever. It was odd to me because I'd never have thought in my head that Toni Braxton would be with Rub Hands Like Birdman. Like,
no,
real,
I agree.
I don't know.
You know what type of couple that is? That's the couple they talk about, the CNA and the drug dealer.
Oh, that's exactly what that is. Yeah,
that's the
it's
exact
like,
type
what?
of vibe that's giving me.
Like you on the way to the studio with Babyface and Birdman's dropping you off in a loud big box Chevy. That's like, how did I really want to know the origin story behind Birdman and Toni Braxton linking up?
But opposites attract though.
That's a big opposite. Well, you know what? That's the thing. That might be opposite of what we think. But Toni Braxton might be really, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Really,
because we only know her from the public image. We don't know her behind the scenes.
Yeah, we only.
And I love me some Toni Braxton. She's a goat.
We only know deep voice Toni. Right. So it's like we don't know how she really is. And she
probably off camera, she probably gets down. She is from. I think she's from Baltimore. Or somewhere in Maryland.
I ain't never heard, but she don't sound like I don't hear the you too.
Yeah, she's not like Just Hilarious, Lil Mo. She ain't got that.
Oh yeah, Just Hilarious got that bad. That Baltimore accent, like,
it's bad. I think that's probably one of the worst accents.
Yeah, that might be. I ain't gonna lie. Because even Canadians, I've heard their accent. It's doable.
Yeah, it's doable.
It's a little cringy when they say certain things like you or some. I don't know. Yeah. I've heard Baltimore say that too. No offense to my Baltimore cousins, but it's something about that accent. How did that happen? Like, it's bad, right?
It's really bad.
Yeah, I don't know. We gotta get to the bottom of that. Another thing we gotta get to the bottom of is Michelle Obama and Barack Obama. Love them dearly. Barack Obama is tired. Not Barack. Michelle Obama is tired of y'all because maybe in the last several months there were several ceremonies, funerals, where Barack was in attendance and Michelle was not there. So some people took that as where's Michelle? Where's she at? They divorcing? Now that's a crazy stretch. Just because you don't see me with my person don't mean that I probably don't want to deal with y'all because these are still political events. So if I was her and we're not in the White House no more, I'm not showing up either.
Exactly. I was just about to say that she hasn't been in the White House in 2 terms. Like, yeah, because it was like 3 terms. Like, what does she need to go to these events for?
Why? So if I was her, I would not attend any of this stuff.
Exactly. I wouldn't either. Let me add.
Please.
In 2014, I see Michelle Obama. She did a speech.
You saw her in person?
Yes, in person.
Oh, wow.
I was in the audience. I was far back. But, I seen her in person.
It counts.
Exactly. It counts because, it was the 50th anniversary of Brown versus Board. And for y'all that don't know, that happened in Topeka, Kansas, my hometown.
Yep.
So I went to the graduation to watch her speak. And when I tell you, I've never seen an aura like hers ever. She literally she just spoke. Like, you would think it was written. It was written. She was just like, and literally, like, I've never heard like an audience so loud. Like, everybody, like, yeah, Michelle's she's that girl.
I would love to have experienced that, but that's dope that you went through.
Yes,
that's cool. Well, yeah, she wasn't feeling people's comments, and she did say, quote, "They couldn't fathom that I was making a choice for myself. They had to assume we are divorcing." Clearly letting you know she is not divorcing Barack. She just didn't want to go. And that is fair. Exactly. I wouldn't want to go. And honestly, a lot of spouses don't want to go to their spouse's things all the time.
Exactly. That's understandable.
I wouldn't want to go.
And let's be real. That's white folks' business. That's not catered to us. Let's be 100% real.
I wouldn't want to go to none of that stuff. So
me neither.
My thing would just be leave me be, leave me alone. And them people talks all stuff about her anyways. A lot of the people that were in attendance of some of these events.
Exactly.
So why would y'all expect me to be here and I don't have to do this?
Exactly. I could be at home, kicking my feedback. Or like, Michelle likes to get out there in the community. She likes to read. She likes to do books and stuff. She probably wants to do some stuff that she wants to do.
I will say the kids was mad at Michelle when she passed that food stuff back in school.
Yeah.
Now, I think that only affected public schools. I didn't go to a public school. So I don't.
Yeah. It definitely affected public schools.
Oh, it did for real?
Yeah, because my freshman year, this was before she made that law. We had like cinnamon rolls at lunch every day.
Y'all didn't need that.
And then exactly. But now that I think about it, like I see why she did it because it was really kind of impacted, especially like the public schools. And so then we had like vending machines with like regular, we were like a Pepsi school. So we had Pepsi, Mountain Dew, or like all the unhealthy snacks you could think of. We came back for sophomore year. It was diet candy, diet soda, no more cinnamon rolls. Yeah. But hey, the candy was low-key fire though, I'm not gonna lie. But the rest of it was kind of,
I'm glad she did what she did.
Yeah.
What you gonna say?
She became a villain in my eyes.
A lot of people's eyes. Y'all was mad because she was trying to keep y'all healthy.
But no. It wasn't about all the extra shit. I could care less about all that. There was these one particular cookies called Otis Spunkmeyer cookies that came in a white paper bag.
Spunkmeyer.
And they were always fresh, always soft. Oh my, the best cookies you'll ever eat. And she took them away from us. And we still, to this day, don't know where to get those.
Okay, now that we're talking about like Michelle Obama and stuff, how do y'all feel about No Child Left Behind?
I don't think that wasn't a her thing. I thought that was George Bush.
I'm just talking about in general.
Oh, I was gonna say, wasn't that George Bush?
Yeah, I think that was George Bush.
So what was the understanding is No Child Left Behind is they gonna just keep moving the kids even though they a little bit off,
pretty much,
and not educated enough.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, some of these kids and people they needed to be left behind. They did.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Am I understanding it correct? If I'm understanding it correctly, you should not just be. That's like promoting somebody at a job when they've been showing up late to work. Why would I promote bad behavior with another level?
Because real life doesn't work like that. And then you got these young kids coming into the workforce completely irresponsible and completely unprepared. Like that's one thing where I will always give praise to where I went to school. Like we didn't have all the fancy stuff like the other public schools had, but at the end of the day, now that I'm an adult, I realize it got me prepared for corporate America.
Yeah, the older you get, because I actually spoke at a women, not women's empowerment. They're still there. It was between 4th grade and 12th grade, and I spoke at a little empowerment event for young girls, and that was kind of what we were talking about. Is just that whole area. So it's very much important. And another thing that you mentioned in that conversation, which I'm like, ooh, this would be a good topic: public school versus private school experiences. And I feel like that's always an interesting conversation because there's a stigma. There's a stigma attached to both. There's a stereotype or whatever. If you go to public schools, people think this. If you go to private schools, people think this. Some things, you know how stereotypes have some truth to them, maybe.
Yes.
Sometimes, but not always like the full case. And I say, like, I know I want you all's opinion on your experience of private and public. Like, I've always been in a private school.
Yeah, see.
I didn't really know the difference when I was in school or nothing. I didn't really know that there was a different element. All I know is my mom, cause she went to East Side High, and she had always told me over in East St. Louis, she was like, whatever her experience was, she knew that she did not want that for me. Like, she just knew some of the stuff that she probably experienced or saw. She was like, oh, there's no way I'm putting my kid in public school. That was just how she wanted to do. And so I don't know how she made it work because, you paying, from my understanding, public school, you're not paying for.
Oh, yeah.
Private school, you are paying for. So it's like parents do got to come up off some money
to get that private school,
to get that education and experience and whatever it is for your kids. But, you get a lot of people that's like, they hate public schools. You get people that they hate private schools. Like, you have to find that medium for your kid. And some kids need private schools. Some kids need public schools. But
literally, in my experience, so both of my parents actually work in public schools, and I went to the same high school as both of my parents. We all alumni from the same school.
That's what's up. Yeah.
So my experience, but I also feel like it depends on the city. Like you from St. Louis, so it's like let's be real. We know their public schools are very rough. And here too.
No, I can't say nothing about that.
But it's
people I know came out.
But
great.
Inner city public schools, they just like a lot of times they don't have
they have a certain type of
and they don't have the funding that they really should.
Sometimes
so you're not getting the necessary programs and stuff.
Yeah.
But ultimately, my experience in public school and particularly high school was a great experience. Now elementary and middle school it was a little rough, but high school it was a vibe.
Yeah, no, that's my thing too. Like I feel like for my kid, I would put him in private school, but that's because I went to a private school.
Exactly,
and it does depend on the city because that's been a big topic lately. Is just the funding, and so like in my head, it's like wow, I can't wrap my head around the fact that all these citizens have to make a vote on if we're going to invest in our kids. Shouldn't that be a no-brainer?
Exactly.
So that's why, to me, it's like I'm going to X out having to put my child's education in somebody else's hand. I just would send them to a private school for me because that's what I experienced. But everything doesn't work for everybody.
Exactly.
But, you know, like the older I get, the more I just be like, I don't know how my mom figured it out because the tuition of the private school alone was crazy, thousands of dollars. So to see how my mom balanced that, raising me, the sports, taking me to this and that, and then, you know, like when you have a kid under your roof, you got to take, every time they breathe, they need something. So it's like your kid just asked for something because they need it. A field trip.
Right. I was just about to say, and a lot of times, like now I understand that I'm an adult why my mom would get so mad when I would tell her stuff last minute. Or I would forget and tell her. She'd be like, I remember one time I had like a project and I forgot about it. And we went to Walgreens and we did that project. Like moms are really like so underestimated. And I'm not discrediting dads because, you know, my dad's the go-to. But moms are just different.
Yeah, no, they're a different breed. And I know now too with the projects, because I had one time I waited last minute. I kept procrastinating, and she ended up having to help me because, you know, they don't want they like, my baby ain't finna walk into school looking crazy. Like
exactly.
now you making me look bad. And so now, like you said, you do understand more like why you shouldn't have waited to tell your parent about that field trip because you don't know what bill's going on. Exactly. You ain't paying for nothing. Like if your mama told you to tell her about that field trip when you find out, you should do that because unless you bringing in money, which I bet you not, listen to your parents.
Exactly.
That's a fact. Other news. Have you seen about Carrie Hilson in the news lately?
Yes, I have.
Do you know why? What happened?
Yes, I know exactly why.
Go
and
ahead.
I'm on Carrie's side. I'm on Carrie's side.
Yeah. I'm with Miss Carrie, baby. Yeah, I've been waiting
because, and let me explain to you why. That diss record, if you, like, we all know
that. Can we play it? I'm going to play it. Can I get
Yeah,
my
I was
phone?
about to say, let's play it.
I'm going to get on. Keep talking.
But Carrie, we all know her pen goes crazy. Like she's wrote like all of the songs that she's.
I think I kind of forgot that, but I'm being reminded.
She's pretty much like Money Long. Like she's written songs for so many different people. Like her pen goes crazy.
Yeah, because I know she was doing that before she kind of got her own break.
Exactly, and so you could tell that she didn't write that because it was it wasn't Carrie's writing and Carrie's flowing of the songs. Like you could tell it wasn't her, and you got to think about her predicament too. She's like. And she's about to make her big break. Like, she just did what she was supposed to do. And she was young. We've all been young and dumb before. And now that we older, we know the importance of taking a stance. Yeah. But when you're like 21, 22, you don't understand that importance yet.
No, that's real. You don't understand none of that importance. Hold on. I'm trying to play it right now. Yeah, I am. But...
Please don't turn me off. Damn. Let's go tonight.
I'm trying to get that close till I shoot these bitches. I need to get up till I shoot these bitches down. Shoot these bitches down. Miss Carrie, baby. I ain't trying to start no mess. It's just something on my chest that I need to get out. Cause you're turning me out. Your vision cloudy. If you think that you the best, you can dance, she can sing, but need to move it to the left, to the left. She need to go have some baby. She need to sit down. She fading. The mother chicks ain't even worth my time to talk about. Been had dollars, boy. Go on, get your money up. No, you ain't the only homie on me line. I ain't turning it off. I'm stay turning it on. Go ahead and tell these folks how long I've been writing your songs. I've been putting you on. Just check the credits, ho. And if you want me, you can find me in Decatur, ho. Cause you're turning me out. Yeah, they're trying to get that close.
I'm finna tell you to turn it off. Like I ain't controlling. All right, cut it. That's funny. Listening to that song is funny. No
That's
cap.
weird. I was literally chuckling.
Esther Dean said she wrote it. Like
she said
Esther
and
Dean.
did. She stood on business about
That's
it.
what I'm
too.
thinking. I'm like, why are you big and bad about writing a diss record? I mean,
right.
Okay. I don't know. And then she kind of apologized or something. I don't know what she said. It didn't really sound like an apology. I like Carrie Hilson. I've always liked Carrie Hilson.
Me too.
And the fact it wasn't just Esther Dean. She also named Polo the Don as the guy who was pushing her to do it. So just a little extra context. Carrie Hilson had an interview, and she just kind of really shared. She said she's had this interview before, but she shared how that it was clearly addressed to Beyonce, which is to the left. And Polo the Don was working on her project. And basically at that time, her album didn't come out yet for the public. And he was like, you need to record this or your stuff ain't coming out. Because she gave him pushback, and then eventually he just was like, you ain't, no, I don't want you, what you wrote. I want this. You're going to do it, or ain't nothing going to pop for you.
Right, which is weird. Like, but we all know from watching documentaries and just hearing like the artists now in their, like, since they out of them contracts, you hear like how them older people, like, and like really from like the 90s to like the 2010s, they had them messed up contracts. Like they weren't really making, you didn't see as many independent artists as you do now.
Yeah, for sure. Because I think people realize, I mean, it's no different than having a job. If you work for a company, it's going to be certain things that you can benefit from. It's going to be certain things your company going to own. But if you own your own business, you take all the risk, but you also take all the profit. So it's like, it's give or take regardless. It's just a matter of what you're able to do. So when you are an artist and you're signing that contract and you're trying to figure out, man, I want to be independent, you're going to have to also realize that you're going to take on a lot of that risk. And that's probably how the labels kind of, finesse people, because people understand they don't have the time or they don't feel like they have the money. Funds. They ain't got the money. You ain't got the money on. Then they gonna slap that 360 deal in front of your face and hand you 3 ink pens. So, you know what I mean? Like, I get how people end up in these contracts. Like, I hate when regular people, we look at stuff and we be like, well, it's you signed the contract, so you're the idiot. Like, come on, let's be honest here. Let's not act like we haven't maybe agreed to something that we really probably was like, we looked over. We just was like moving too quick, or we trusted the person. That's life. Like, that's going to happen. You going to sign some bad deals just because just like you were Megan Thee Stallion. Everybody was trying to make it seem like she was just such an idiot. Like, oh, you got a degree. How you do this? This girl was in school for nursing and medical. That ain't got nothing to do with signing no contract for no money.
Exactly.
Like I think sometimes people just dehumanize celebrities or people that they view are higher than them, and just be like, well, you have this. You should be smarter. If you not smarter, what makes you think she's smarter?
Literally. And we should have all learned a lesson from TLC.
Yeah, because what, they get them cars?
They pulled up in them Toyota Highlanders.
Yeah, they got them little cars or something. Like, everybody has a story. So I'm interested, like, in 20 years from now, what documentaries we'll see. That would be an interesting thing, too.
Absolutely.
Like, who else, like, is going to come out and be like, so-and-so did this to me. We'd be like, what? I think Trey Songz is definitely going to have a documentary.
Oh, yeah, he absolutely is. And Diddy, too.
Oh, they did 50 of him. They ain't did 50 of them, no pun intended. They ain't did hellas of them. It was this other story, Gilly the Kid. He was just making a video, and he said some advice to mothers. He said, if your son, he spoke primarily about sons, gets locked up, don't bail him out. And I feel like that's a love and hate type of,
it's very situational.
I understand. But at the same time, nobody is going to just leave a baby boy or baby girl in jail. Now, we're going to open up the floor, but I just want to say this first. My mindset is 2 things. If you're getting locked up and going to jail, or it's not prison, you just, I don't know, you in a holding cell, whatever it is, I personally wouldn't want anybody that I know, family, friend, whatever, to be stuck in jail over the weekend if I have the means to get you out and bail you out. And I say that because you don't know what that person might experience while they're in there for the 24, 48 hours. They can change and alter the rest of their lives. I don't think people really understand, like, it's not a game.
Exactly.
It's not Orange is the New Black. You don't know what type of detention center, jail, prison people are in. You don't know what's really going on. You don't know what PO, whatever. You don't know how shiesty people are, correctional officer, whatever they call them. So it's like, that's my mindset is, you might be thinking you teaching your baby boy a lesson, and the whole time he get assaulted in there.
Exactly.
Then what? Now he's
scarred for life.
Now he's scarred for life. Now he's traumatized.
Exactly. But I will say, and I also think it's very situational, because I understand if your kid just keeps going back and forth, you're gonna have to reap the benefit, because we can't keep bailing you out, because that's life. And I do think that, but again, it's just situational, because you never know.
Yeah. No, you can't. Yeah, that's what somebody said too. We opened up the phone lines on the radio, and somebody was like, if they repeat offender on the same thing, then I might leave them in there. if it's just maybe this your first time or this is one thing, like, okay, we gonna talk about it, whatever. But every kid is different.
Exactly.
Like, you gotta know your kids. The one last thing I'll say, and then I was gonna pass it to you, is I feel like there's a sense of connection and hope that you have with your parent. Like, if your parent is somewhere and you're drowning, you expect your parents to come grab you. That's a natural thing. So if your parent doesn't come save you, that perception you have and that connection you might have with your parent might be ruined forever. If that moment. So that's how I view the jail situation is. If your parent doesn't get you out and you know they have the means to, and they let you sit in there and rot, whatever, you're not going to look at your parent the same way. And you might disown them. Like, that might ruin your relationship. So that's another thing that I would be scared about.
So if we're talking about a young man getting locked up, first question would be, why is he getting locked? Why'd he get locked up?
Of course.
But like, say it was because, you know, young men grow up too fast sometimes, and they go out and try to, you know, be a grown man and in the street
and get into
selling, doing whatever, you know. As a father, I feel like majority of the time, if the father's present in their lives, they're constantly probably telling this kid they need to stop doing what they're doing, hanging out with who they're hanging out with. If this kid chooses to ignore every, you know, caution that he got, and he gets locked up, as a father, I would too leave them in there because they chose to go there, in my opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
like, because, like, for instance, if my kid was out there like robbing, I'm sorry, no, you staying in there.
Yeah, you kind of wilding.
Yeah, because that's just one thing that you.
And robbing and stealing is different.
It's very different. Especially when you work, like, you know, we all hardworking individuals in this room. So like, it is different. Like, if somebody like if you were to get somebody like us, it's like you literally could just do it if you just put if you put the effort into it.
Just
and
like you.
That's what's wrong with a lot of these, like the YNs and the YBs these days, is because they just feel like they gotta have everything now. Like, they don't feel like they have to work. Like, they feel because they gotta like impress social media.
Keeping up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Keeping up with social media it's a terrible thing. And I always explain to people, even when I speak to the youth, like, that when we post a picture, we're all putting our best effort. You know what I'm saying? We put our best self first. Exactly. On social media. Like, of course, if I didn't have my hair done, do you think that I would be sitting in front of you today? My hair wasn't bouncing. It wasn't bouncing if it wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Do you think that I would be right here? No. But that's part of what you present. How you present yourself is important. So people have to understand, just because my hair look like this right now, of course, there might be one day or so where it don't. But people don't see that side of social media, so they think it doesn't exist.
Exactly.
Like, you see him in his nice car, but you don't know what he did to go get it. So you gotta be careful, because you thinking, oh, well, he got this, they got that. You don't know what he did. What Janet Jackson say? Oh, you doing the bending. You don't know if he had to call Nate. You don't know what's going on. So count your blessings. If you got something popping that you trying to get into, go ahead and do it. But looking at social media and just seeing other people, the only thing that social media should do is inspire you. But it shouldn't go to the point where the inspiration makes you want to rob or do things that's, you know, illegal.
Right, exactly.
Like,
it's not that deep.
It's not
and
that
my
deep.
thing is, it's like, one thing that I've learned so far, like in my adult life, is everything happens for a reason, and you got to live within your means. Because if you don't live within your means, you'll never be happy.
Yeah. Oh, that's a fact. You definitely got to live in your means. That brings me to my next topic. We got a new segment called Homegirl. Now, this segment was a new addition to the Offer Hustle, and it'll be, it is me sharing stories with you all that I've gotten from my homegirls in the group chats. Now, I've gotten clearance. I shouldn't say their names, but I've gotten clearance on me talking about these topics. So, I was just on the phone with, hold on, let me see. One momento. Let me see. Cause I don't feel like clearing up no name. I just rather say her name. Oh, girl. Oh, honey. Did everybody want to do D&D now that I done did it? I did it first. You trying to do it worst. Oh, hold on. I did it. Yeah. Hello?
Hello?
Hey, sister.
Hi.
I'm on my podcast right now, and me and Zae are having a conversation, and I wanted to know if I can say your name. Not your, your nickname, but do I need to come up with a name, or can I just say you? I can just say you. Okay, perfect. Thank you for the clearance.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, cuz
Hey, cuz.
Okay, so Lo was telling me that she was, so the real question is this, listen to the context, is the question is Lo wrong for how she, you know, maybe said how she handled the situation? That is the ultimate question. So she was just saying that she was kicking it with this guy, like real cool, entertaining, getting to know, kind of like dating. And dating doesn't mean you're with the person. Dating just means you're having fun, you're hanging out. That's what dating is. So they had, you know, went to a couple bars every now and then, da-da-da-da. Now, the first time I think they went out, like, first or second, he Ubered there, whatever. She was like, well, why you Uber? You know, just having a conversation. He was like, oh, well, since we drinking, I want to try and drink and drive. So, you know, of course, like, you know, like, oh, sounds like he's responsible.
Exactly.
Thumbs up. Okay, cool. So then it was another time that they went somewhere, and I guess he pulled up in, or he was riding around in whatever job he works for, the company car. So, you know, not a big deal. Like, okay, you clearly might still have a company car from being on work, like being at work. Okay, cool, fine. Then there's another time, I guess he said something that insinuated that, like, it was a time where she cooked, and he was just like, you know, she was just like, oh yeah, I just happened to cook. They just were talking randomly. She was like, yeah, if you want to play, just let me know, type thing, whatever. He was like, oh, why don't you drop it off? Why would I drop it off? Just come get the plate.
Yeah.
So what does that make you, how do you feel after hearing that real quick?
No, she's not wrong.
You don't even know what it is. You don't even know what she did.
Oh, what did she do?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Okay.
you just saying she not wrong. What's she not wrong for?
She's not wrong for she's not wrong for not wanting to bring it. Like, if you want to play, come get it.
Yeah, okay, yeah, right. But at this point, we're piecing together that the man has no car. That's the part.
Yeah.
Because which, you know, be that as it may, that happens. I personally feel like he should have just said that.
Exactly.
But it sounds like you trying to play a game enough to just make it seem like, oh, I just Ubered because, you know, I ain't want to drink and drive. I'm responsible. That's what it gave.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No disrespect to Buddy. You know what I'm saying? Buddy boy, he cool. And so with that, I guess he also might not be like, he don't be outside or something. Like, he not outside, but there's times she just want to go. She might just be drunk out drinking, grabbing drinks with, you know, Brooke, whatever. She might just be like, oh, like they might text, and he might be like, oh, what you doing? I'm trying to see what's up. She's just like, oh, well, I'm at the bar with my friends. You can come if you want to. Regular. We're just hanging out. But if you sound like you inside, you already don't have a car, you're not mobile, this might not be something that you can do right now.
Exactly.
Because you probably want me to stay at the crib and watch you play 2K, and we not doing that. This isn't a relationship. We just hanging out. We just kicking it. And so that leads me to the question of, I think that some people might view that as like, oh, well, because she had a conversation with him, was just like, you know, I just think that this ain't really, you know what I'm saying, something. And I think he responded kind of agreeing with her, just like he's not he's not able to like date right now. And I'm like, that makes sense. You probably should have just said that out the gate.
Exactly.
Because if you knew you had no car and you couldn't really move around, you know what I'm saying, to do that, you probably should have just said that. Maybe he took a minute to realize that, so that's fine. But I know some people might be like, well, you didn't have to say that to him. And I feel like we get to a point where we coddle people too much, especially men.
Absolutely.
Where it's like, no.
This coming from a man. Absolutely. Yeah. And my thing is too, like, this is one thing that I've learned. Like, dating beneath you gets you nowhere.
Nowhere.
It gets you nowhere. Like, respectfully, like, if I'm ever going to take you serious, you got to have everything that I have. Mm-hmm. If you can't provide what I could provide, why? I could do it by myself, and I've been doing it by myself.
I could do bad all by myself.
Exactly. Literally. Like.
Nah, for sure. And it's also a difference. I always clarify this. Because if you don't have a car, but you get everywhere, Uber, whatever your means are, and you have no problem doing that, we're not talking about you. We're talking about the people that straight up don't have no vehicle and they don't really have the money to be Ubering every single day. That's a different experience. Because there's some people that do it by choice.
Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with that. As long as you have the means, then do what you do. You know what I'm saying? But that's the situation is too. Like, the serious note, if someone's going to try to take you seriously, you got to have what I have. I'm not going to ask you nothing that you don't. That's something that I don't provide. That's what it is.
Absolutely.
Like, You ain't got no car. You ain't got no job. You ain't got this. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, no.
We wouldn't have met. Me personally, I don't know how we would have met. Like at the bus stop where we meet at.
Is there any situation where you would go below your means for a significant other?
If they had it before I met them, or if they had it like for instance, if something happened, like for instance, like if you had everything when I met you and you lost your job,
You lost it all.
That's a different situation because that's something that's out of your control. But if I met you and you ain't got no car, you ain't got no
I can't expect you to have that because that's how I met you.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And I think it depends. I'm gonna say to you, it depends on what it is. So if you like threw out to me like, oh, what if they don't have this? That might be below my means. Then it just depends on what it is.
No, I'm saying like, what if they're like flat broke, no car?
Oh no, you can't. Flat broke not gonna work.
No, but they're just like the perfect companion for you outside of.
We can be
that.
cool. What's up?
I know. But like I'm saying, like perfect world, like this is like your perfect companion outside of the lack of finances, car, you know.
But that's what like what you said. It sounds like a companion.
Yeah,
like I would treat it as I would treat it as because it's like that just sounds like somebody like you kick it with when. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe I'm in your part of town or this is a bar like that you like too. We'll kick it when we kick it, but that's not enough. That's terrible actually.
Especially in this economy. Like
eggs is $50.
I was just about to say it's $1,000 1-bedroom apartments.
So what you gonna do with somebody else? Cause you told me a joke? Cause you're funny? You think that's gonna get you into like a situation with somebody who has and you don't have? That's not enough.
That's not.
It's a comedian every street corner. Literally, it's a geek every street corner.
Especially where we at right now.
No, I seen one when I got on East Truman. It was a lady. Her pants was falling down from the back. She had a stick in her hand. I thought she was finna hit a car. I almost ran the red light just because I didn't want to be next to her. I don't know what was going on. I know literally I was finna record and I said, you know what? I'm not finna play with this lady. She don't look like she's in a playing mood. I'm finna get up out of here. And
I swear to God, no. I'm on another note. Kansas City and St. Louis, they got probably some of the interesting people on the corners. Because, you know, we got to, they be very interesting and funny.
Mm-hmm. Kansas City, for sure. Y'all really got some interesting characters. Like, just be like people that, I'll be like, what?
They be right up there on the off ramps. It'd be a different person every time I get up off on the off ramp in the city.
Literally, like, Like, and there's nothing worse when people coming up to your car trying to sell stuff.
It's like, please leave me alone.
It's that, you know what? That's the most awkward thing, though.
It is.
Is when people are trying to sell stuff. Thank you. Look at you directing. Am I better now? Because I can see, but I can't see like details. Right here. Okay. Still there. Okay, it's better. Yeah, get me right. Clock that T. That's like the most awkward thing. Is not knowing how to treat people when you at that light and you got somebody, you know what I'm saying, right here trying to sell something or whatever, and they walk up to your car or they trying to get closer to you. Do you look at them and say no? Because if you roll the window down, they gonna think you gonna hand them something. If you look at them, they gonna think that's a reason. That's a, you know what I'm saying, you trying to interact. Mm-hmm. So do you just? And you like right there and you just what do you do? What do y'all do?
I just sit there and I'm gonna
sit there and look where?
I just sit at the light.
You look down because some people will look down.
I'll get on my phone and
What about the window washer? That's just washing the window right.
I wish somebody would. You're not getting nothing. Move.
Especially now I got this new booty. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, you don't want nobody on that car. No. I don't see that many window washers in Kansas City. That's not a heavy thing here. Yeah. I feel like I might have seen one or two for like a school, like a organization. I'm at a light. I'm trying to go where I gotta go.
And let me just add,
I gotta go.
This might be a little racist, but it's true. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't give money to the white homeless people.
Why do you feel that way?
Because cousin? I just feel like, how did you fumble the
I
white?
knew you was finna say
how
that.
Did you fumble that bag?
Your perspective is they had privilege and they're
and I see it firsthand because I'm half white. So like,
oh, you are? I didn't know that. He's biased. That's why he can say it.
Exactly. That's how you know. That's funny. I'm cracking
Okay,
up that you don't
I
even
feel
know
better that you said it then. Now that I know that you're biracial. Hold on, let me play this song. We ain't gotta edit it out. Hold on, let me play this song real quick. I don't know if y'all ever heard this. This is playing on the little thing. Sorry, I'm making you. Yeah.
Are you talking about the she's biracial?
I know it is.
That's funny though that I've known you all these years and you didn't.
You know what?
She
That's
won't
another
go
good
through it. She's biracial. She's a biracial girl. She's a biracial. She is the one.
I don't know what made him say that or sing that. His name is Sean Fury. I don't know what that was about, but that song is so funny. So when I do know people are biracial, I play this song. So that you're inducted into the Biracial Hall of Fame. It was something that you said, and I was like, that would be a good topic. What'd you say? Oh, I didn't know you were biracial.
Yeah.
That's a thing. I have given so many people the benefit of the doubt, and I just assume people are black. My co-host, not my co-host. Well, yeah, but no, my coworker, Joe Cornejo. I thought he was black. I just assumed that. And I saw the man. I didn't know. It's people that I meet in my life all the time. I didn't know that they were like another race or mixed or, whatever. Like, I just assume. B-Dub. I work with him too. That is a white man. I thought he was black. I thought he was light skinned. Like, I try not to assume that because I know a black person would get offended if you think that they're white.
Right.
So I just assume that people, especially when they culturally are black or culturally in our space, if you look it and you kind of give it, I sometimes just assume you're black.
Exactly.
Like, and not biracial, just black. I just assume people are black.
See, with me, I have a lot of black features, so it's kind of like
yeah. Like it was never like now if you told me you were black, I had some questions. Yeah, I can see it a little bit. I can see it.
I can see it too.
I can see it. I don't know. But like that's a thing too. It'd be hard for me to gauge. Like, I don't know. I don't be wanting to make people feel uncomfortable. So
exactly.
I don't ask. Now sometimes I do, but
and then you got some people that are just strictly black and they like bright like me.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Not you saying just I thought you were trying to say that you're not biracial and you're black. Like, you are black, but
exactly.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, no, my mom was black, my daddy is black. I'm blackity black. Yeah, I'm black. I feel like I had to throw that in there. This has been a great conversation. I hope you've enjoyed it so far.
It's definitely been great.
It's been very intriguing. I've had a blast. The Millennial Tour is happening. I don't think I really have any comments on that. Shout out to Bow Wow. Bow Wow's very underrated. Bow Wow's done a lot. People was trying online, at least a couple years ago. I feel like people was trying to make it seem like Bow Wow was corny. I don't know where that narrative came from. Online do not be reality.
He's been in the game since he was like, what,
He
9?
was a kid, yes. Literally. That's what I'm saying. Like, the man has done so many things, and it's really unfortunate because sometimes it takes people to get attacked online and then people to be like, nah, y'all tripping, da-da-da-da. Like, why y'all gotta attack people online?
Literally. That's one negative thing about social media. It's just giving like the people that aren't credentialed to have an opinion to have an opinion.
Yeah. And it's like, we don't have to like everybody. We don't have to always agree.
Like, I see so many people that get on like and be like, such and such can't sing. But it's like, also, you're not there at the live performance. So you don't know what it sounds like live. Yeah. You're watching from TV.
Yeah.
And you don't know, like, they just don't know the internal process of like how things work.
Yeah, no, that's a fact too. That's another thing that I deal with a lot. I feel like we all do with whatever field we're in, but with working in radio, a lot of people have their own perception of what you do. Of course, like, naturally, any job. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm assuming, like, just because you work at the Amazon warehouse don't mean that you are the reason my package was delayed. So it's the same thing for radio. Just because, this or this might have happened doesn't mean that that's my job description. That ain't got nothing to do with me. That's a whole nother department.
That's my job to the T. Like, I'm talking to you about your fraud, but I didn't block your card.
I didn't do it. it's not me.
Now, sometimes I did, but most
not
of the
this
time I didn't.
right? Yeah, and it's the same thing with just different things that people just assume you have access to. Oh, well, you doing this, you didn't do this, or it's like, nah. Like if you knew the day in and day out of everybody's job, I feel like we would respect each other more if you have an understanding that just because you don't know it know about it doesn't mean it's not happening or it doesn't exist. Maybe it's not ready yet or whatever it is. But we all do that. Like when we just be like, man, they ain't doing nothing. Because I've had sometimes people have mentioned to me like, this might have been people cool with me or whatever, where their idea is like, well, you get off at 10, so you ain't got nothing to do. Oh, baby, I got tons to do because I might not get up out of there till noon. Don't let Myron get a hold of me and have a long, drawn-out conversation. Shout out to Boss Man. But then I'll be there for a whole nother hour. Don't let Jeff find me and give me a commercial. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's that and then the preparation that goes into working in radio. Your job never stops. That's what I've learned.
Exactly.
Is that type of field, you never stop because your mind is always working to be like, how can I do this? Or it's a topic that pops out. Kansas City topics. You like, ooh, maybe I should interview so-and-so. The Discover post something. You be like, ooh, how can I tie this into the morning show? Like your mind never stops working. And then we got to prep each and every day. So it's like the job never stops just because I'm not behind a mic.
Exactly. And y'all are out in the community a lot.
That's another thing. Like I had 2 events. We broadcast live at a school, and then I had another event that I was at for like 2 hours. And then I still got to get up at 4 a.m. So, which means I need to go to sleep at a decent time, which I have not yet. But yeah, I think in the world, we should just respect each other enough to not devalue what people do or just think that they got it easy or think this and that. Because I was like, some people don't be doing nothing. You get those people. But overall, we all, pushing the needle for something.
Exactly.
Like, just give people their credit. You ain't got to see the action for it to be there. That's all I got to say. Any other remarks that you want to make? Any other topics that you want to throw out there?
I feel like we should talk about what we're going to do this weekend to the people.
But you know. Yeah. No, I'm excited because we're going to Dallas. So
yes, we're going on a cousin trip.
Yeah, that should be fun. It's like 9 of us. We finna be outside. I'm gonna have I'm gonna have great content and things to share with you all next week for sure. And it's actually funny because next week I have a therapist on, so it'll be a real good conversation of like just talking about things in the Black community and just the stigma around therapy and stuff like that. But back on topic, yes, we're going out of town. We got some sections booked too. That was annoying too, to even having to text people or text the thing and be like, hey, what's this and that? Like, I'll never book a section in my life again. It was too much texting. I don't want to do all this.
That's one pro about being friends with you is they be like, oh, it's Deona.
Yeah. So normally it's just fine, but I'm going to another city.
Right. When you go to another city, it's different. You actually got to pay for it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Don't nobody know me over in Dallas. So, we got 2 sections booked already. And then it's this sip and spin. I'm really excited about that. That's going to be fun. It's like a DJ course, but you sipping like a sipping paint. I'm excited. That's going to be fun.
Yes, that's going to be
I think I'm going to vlog this trip and then probably post it on my Shay Deona Perry.
And then we're actually on the same flight, y'all. So.
Oh, yeah, we are. Yeah.
So
we got to get up so early. Oh, God. Well, pray for us. I'm finna get my water in. I'm not even really drinking like that. I'll let that be for the young kids. Child. I'm 28. I'm more seasoned. I can't be doing all of that. Big shout out to NSPN. Love to Zoo Studios. Can't wait to have our conversation next week to talk about the trip, therapy, and some other new things that we got in the works. So stay tuned. Appreciate y'all.